You see, there is nothing bad and very much sad like the club you've been serving sacking you no sooner the result or the game is done and you've lost 3-0 to Fulham, and they never even waited for Steven Gerrard to go back to Aston Villa and then sack him. They just went up and released the statement that we've sacked sorry, that we've sacked Steven Gerrard from the job of being the permanent manager of Aston Villa, meaning that they relieved him of his duties before he even went back to the club training ground or the club offices. So welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? Good morning. And where are you watching us from? This story broke up late in the night. Had just done the match reaction of Arsenal and the team which goes by the names of PSV. I couldn't come in through and really drop it in immediately, but obviously I believe that it should be one of those stories that I should really start on today in the morning. But Steven Gerrard has lost his job at Aston Villa. Remember, they signed him last season after sacking, is it Sean Dyche? Was it Sean Dyche, or there is the recent manager of Aston Villa that was sacked, and obviously brought him Steven Gerrard. He dropped his job at Rangers and obviously came to Aston Villa. To me, I believe it was something early for him to go on and really do it. But obviously, he decided to come in and show that he's really brave. But obviously, he never really turned things around. And the club statement was put out and it read, Aston Villa confirmed that they have sacked Steven Gerrard as he left the club with immediate effect. The club spokesperson said, "We would like to thank Steven Gerrard for his hard work and commitment and wish him well for the future." Now, when you look at Steven Gerrard, he came in last season, and when he came in last season, he really won like 4 or 5 games in there for you at Aston Villa, and the club was so much exciting, and I really thought that maybe it's not this other reaction that players really give to the new manager, but obviously it resulted to be into so that it was a reaction of the new manager, and they won those games. But ever since he won like 6 games, Aston Villa went ahead to lose very, very many games, and this season, out of 11 games, Steven Gerrard had only gathered 9 points, and with the amount of money that the owners of Aston Villa are injecting this team, they couldn't allow it, and obviously they need a better manager, and they've gone ahead to back him in the transfer. He has the likes of Boba Kamara, Diego Carlos. He brought in players like Coutinho and very many other good players. When you look at the quality of players of Aston Villa, I believe they are more better than those of Newcastle, but Newcastle is really having better results than Aston Villa. Newcastle is placed 6th into the Premier League table. They've gathered close to 16 points. I think they've gathered 16 points, 17 points in the 11 games they've played, and Aston Villa has only gathered 9, meaning that was really uncalled for, and I believe that he went into this game knowing it, that if at all he loses, he's going to be sacked. But obviously, these players are responsible. Amidst the manager coming in through and being sacked, by the players never put in a shift in that game of Fulham. I watched that game and I asked myself, will these players save Steven Gerrard? Because Steven Gerrard has joined the other manager that were sacked. Scott Parker was the first manager to be sacked. You get Thomas Tuchel, second manager to be sacked. For that, I predicted on this channel. If I told you you've been watching this channel a lot, you saw me predict that Thomas Tuchel will be one of those managers to be sacked this season. Then the third manager was Bruno Raj, the manager of Wolverhampton Wanderers. And by the way, we never thought that Steven Gerrard was going to go ahead and get sacked, because Frank Lampard was in the queue, but he went ahead to really get results against Everton. The other manager that was in the queue to be sacked, which other manager was so close to be sacked? The manager of Nottingham shocked everyone, because for him, he was even rewarded a new contract. You get? They extended his contract, and now he's going to start Nottingham for 5 years. So I believe they believed in him, and maybe Steven Gerrard came at the wrong team. And I believe people like Steven Gerrard really make blunders in life, but we keep trying, and I think it shows you how brave he is. To me, I believe he would have stayed at Rangers. After staying at Rangers and winning the trophy again, because they even reached the final of the UEFA Europa League, and now they're playing the Champions League, I believe those would have been all his achievements at Rangers. But coming in a team like Aston Villa, I think was really a very bad pick, because a team like Aston Villa has rich men, or rich owners who really believe that they're supposed to be somewhere, and if at all they don't get where they want to be, they're going to sack you. A lot of pressure for Steven Gerrard was accumulated on him, and obviously couldn't handle it, and I believe that really caused him a lot of problems into this game of football as he was managing a side which goes by the names of Aston Villa. And the expectations were not met by the team, and obviously he was sacked immediately ever since he was sacked after 11 games. And they are placed 17th, something that is not allowed or acceptable by the hierarchy of a team which goes by names of Aston Villa. So Steven Gerrard started off the season very well by beating Nottingham 2-0. He beat them 2-0. Was it beating Nottingham? I think they beat Nottingham, yeah. Was it Bournemouth? I think he suffered a loss, and then his second game he really beat Bournemouth by 2-0, and obviously he really did the needful and really won some games. But obviously 11 games having 9 points, oh my god, that is abysmal, meaning that out of the possible 27 he has managed to collect 11. And I believe there is a lot of things happening down there at a team which goes by the names of of Aston Villa that we don't be knowing, but obviously Aston Villa are really trying to bring in a replacement as soon as possible. So who do you think is going to replace Steven Gerrard? I'm having a man known as Jacobs Bain. You know him. He's really one of those credible sources that really brings us news as far as these transfers are concerned. He has gone ahead to let us know that Aston Villa sacked Steven Gerrard after their 3-0 loss to Fulham. It's going to take a lot to persuade Mauricio Pochettino to join, who is biding his time for the right role. But one thing for sure, Villa's board are going to be ambitious in finding a replacement. Obviously, they would like to go in and really bring in the ideal replacement who is really in the levels of really taking this team to the next level. There are managers like Rafael Benitez. There are managers like Mauricio Pochettino, Thomas Tuchel. They are all jobless. And as things stand right now, is Aston Villa going to go in and bring in Mauricio Pochettino because he's the ideal manager to take them to the next level? I believe he deserves a job, but will he choose to come in and join Aston Villa? That's the big question, because United really let him down for not really giving him a job, and obviously went into PSG. And while at PSG, for United to bring him at the club, they needed to pay 30 million euros, something that United couldn't really afford. And obviously United couldn't fail their supporters again by really making a choice the fans didn't make, because all of the managers that they've been making, they've not been fun choices. But this time around, Ten Hag is a fun choice and is making things turn around at Manchester United. So Steven Gerrard, right now as we speak, he's jobless. He doesn't have a job. Alisa coming in, 11 games. Something I never expected to happen, because I thought that these players would come in and really help him out, not to be really sacked, but obviously he has been sacked, and obviously he is out of Aston Villa. Aston Villa, let's wait and see how they're going to go on and really save their season, because they're 17 points. They're in the 17th position, meaning that they're just one position above the relegation zone, and meaning that a reaction needs to be shown. And you're going to see these players of Aston Villa coming in through and really playing a very huge game over the weekend, because they need to be reactionary as any other team does. Look at Bournemouth. They've not yet brought in a permanent manager, but the team is really winning game in, game out, and looks like these players were against Scott Parker. They never wanted him to be here. Yet he gave them jobs, and he really got them from relegation zone and really brought them back to the Premier League. So I believe something is going to be seen. I support Manchester United. I remember when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in after Mourinho was sacked, United went ahead to win 9 out of the possible 10 games. And the board of United, being naive, they went ahead to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a new contract. Something that I believe he would have first run down his 6 months contract. Then after, they rewarded him according to what he would have really achieved at the end of the season, because he found United playing in the Champions League. He found United qualifying for the Champions League ever since Jose Mourinho was here. And obviously we didn't qualify. After giving him that permanent job, the players put their foot off the pedal. And obviously we finished, is it 5th or 6th in the season? So it shows you how hard it is. And obviously we expect more coming in from these players of Aston Villa over the weekend. In their game, they're really going to go ahead and play into this game of football as far as the Premier League is concerned. And to be so much exact, Let me go to the Premier League fixture that's happening this weekend. Aston Villa, who are you playing? Aston Villa is hosting Brentford at the Villa Park, and I believe they're really going to go ahead and really win that game, though Brentford is coming in a very high gear after getting a point out of Chelsea at their stadium in London. Thank you guys for watching in. Your reactions to Steven Gerrard sacked by Aston Villa, and they're looking in for Mauricio Pochettino, are welcome in the comment section below. May the Almighty Lord protect you abundantly, and may Him bless your day as you want it to be blessed. I'm out for now. See you later, but I'm returning with that Chelsea predicted lineup and the breakdown of that game. But if at all you want to go ahead and really see the real breakdown of that game, United Matters channel is the channel to be, because I've already done that game. Obviously, United versus Chelsea in there for you. I'm out. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.